welcome back to my channel. Our story for today is entitled The Girl with the Stutter. Once upon a time in a land not so far away, there was a girl who loved nothing more than telling stories. She would spend hours creating fantastical tales in her head, filled with brave knights and magical creatures. But there was a problem. Every time she tried to share these stories with others, her words got tangled up like a Gordian knot. You see, this girl had a stutter. Now, you might think that having a stutter means just saying some words a little differently, but for this girl named Maria, it was much more than that. Whenever she tried to talk, her stutter made words stick in her throat like stones. And to make matters worse, some of her classmates would mimic her stutter, making her cheeks burn with shame. Despite this, Maria still loved telling stories. And one day her teacher announced a storytelling competition. All the students were excited, except for Maria. She wanted to try, but the thought of standing in front of the whole school and being laughed at made her heart sink. That night, Maria told her grandmother about her worries. Her grandmother was a wise woman who always knew how to make Maria feel better. She said, "Your voice is beautiful because it's yours. Don't hide it." Maria wasn't sure if that would help, but she decided to try. Every evening after that, Maria would practice telling her stories out loud. At first, the words would get stuck, and she would startle when her stutter made strange noises. But then she remembered what her grandmother had told her. So she took a deep breath, steadied herself, and slowed down. It was hard, but as she kept practicing, the words started to flow better, and she even began to enjoy the sound of her own voice. On the day of the competition, Maria's heart pounded like a drum solo as she stood on the stage in front of the entire school. She took another deep breath, trying to calm herself. Then she began her story. Once upon a time, there was a clever fox who could outsmart any hunter. No matter how many times they tried, they couldn't catch the fox. One day, the hunter set a trap so clever that it took the fox by surprise. But despite all the danger, the fox managed to escape unharmed. And from that day on, the fox never stopped running. As Maria began her tale, her stutter returned, and she stumbled over her words. She could feel her face flushing with shame, and for a moment she wanted to run away. But then she remembered all the hours she spent practicing, all the hard work she put in to be here. So she took another deep breath, steadied herself, and continued. At first, some of the students snickered at the sound of her stutter, but as Maria gained confidence, they fell silent. They had never heard her tell a story before, and they were captivated by her words. As she described the cunning fox dodging traps and outsmarting the hunters, the whole audience leaned in, hanging on every word. By the end of the story, Maria's stutter was completely gone. In its place was a steady, confident voice that had the whole school spellbound. As the applause erupted, Maria knew that she had accomplished something truly special. She had found her voice, and she would never have to hide it again. From that day on, Maria became known throughout the school not just as the girl who stuttered, but as Maria, the storyteller. And whenever she spoke, her classmates listened attentively, for they knew that behind her stutter was a girl with a heart of gold and a voice that could captivate anyone who listened. And that's the story of the girl with the stutter. If you like this story and want more, I will really appreciate if you share, like, and subscribe. See you again next time.